Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Dr. Jun-sok, professor of economics at the Catholic University of Korea. Professor Yang, thank you for coming on today.
Happy to be here.
Now, we just heard about these direct payments the government's going to give to South Korean households and other measures. Tell us a bit more about those and what effect they might have on the real economy and the financial markets.
Okay, well, there has been a lot of measures taken by the government in the last 3 weeks or so, and that's because the economic problem for coronavirus is really developing into not only a medical problem, but a problem involving economic demand, supply, and finance. On the 18th, we had $32 trillion won assistance program that was designed to help the hardest hit industries and exporting firms like the tourism industry, transportation industry, and the airlines. And on the 23rd, we had 100 trillion won assistance, which were designed to keep businesses alive until the coronavirus crisis is over. So in that particular plan, you had 41.8 trillion won allocated to the financial market so that the bond market would continue. Securities market will be stabilized. This was done in part because we're now in a financial panic in most of the countries in the world, and that means there's a lot of flight to safety, flight to liquidity, and in the past that led to a credit crunch. The firms could not get much loans from banks or the financial sector, so even a firm which could have survived the crisis could not get loans, and they died off. And this time they wanted to make sure that that doesn't happen. And then of that 100 billion won, trillion won, 58.3 trillion won was allocated to assistance to firms, including not only small and medium-sized firms, but also larger firms. And in this particular case, we are giving 200,000 to 1 million won for households. The richest 30% of the households will be exempted from getting this payment, but it's designed to make people secure that they are getting some income even through the coronavirus, so that hopefully they'll keep spending money. Buyers buying things means that sellers can sell things and makers can make things. So we really need people to feel secure in that their income, so that they keep on spending and they keep the economy going around.
Well, now, elsewhere, tomorrow, the Bank of Korea is going to release the first $12 billion from the currency swap with the U.S. It's also promised, of course, unlimited liquidity for the local market, unprecedented. How much of a help do you think this will be?
Okay, well, it'll help in the medium term. It's also helping in the short term as well, but there's going to be a lot of instability. And that's because this measure is also designed to get around the credit crunch somewhat. What the Bank of Korea is doing is that because so many people want cash because things are so uncertain, that the Bank of Korea is making sure that people have as much cash as they want. If there is a shortfall of cash, then banks may not lend their money out to businesses and will result in a cash credit crunch, like I mentioned in the previous question. But the problem is the Bank of Korea can make the cash available. They can encourage lending. They can reduce regulations that stop the banks from lending, but they cannot force the banks to lend. And because they have the pool of cash, firms will be feeling more secure, and investors will feel more secure in buying stocks. But unless the banks actually do lend out that cash, there might be some flows and ebbs in the firm's fortunes and the stock market as well.
Well, and finally, oil prices dipping below $20 a barrel briefly. Are we headed into oil in the teens of dollars?
It's quite a possibility, and that's because the demand has fallen so much because of the coronavirus. You cannot travel. All the airlines are now holding back their flights. And then next month, the agreement between OPEC and Russia on limiting their production runs out. And even now, there's so much supply that we really don't know where we can store them. So there is a possibility that the oil price will go down to the teens. It's a realistic possibility. But hopefully, when the coronavirus crisis ends and people start spending again, it should disappear.
All right, Professor Yang, we'll have to leave it there for today. Thanks so much for sharing your insights.
Thank you.